Fermented red rye malt is a nutritionally dense ingredient that can turn ordinary baked goods and beverages into extraordinary. After a few years of experimenting with different equipment and temperatures and getting some interesting results, I'll share with you what it is, how to make it yourself at home, and explain its health benefits. Fermented red rye malt are rye berries that have been sprouted, fermented, caramelized, and dried. Should be considered as nutritionally dense spice and used as such, sparingly. A little will go a long way. Sprouting begins with soaking your grain in cold water for 8 to 10 hours max. To decide how much grain to soak, fill container you will be fermenting your rye berries in to about a third way up. By the time your grain will sprout, it will triple in volume. Choose grain of a previous year harvest that's at least 5 months old. Freshly harvested grain will not sprout. And cold water will prevent growth of unwanted at the moment bacteria. Rinse it a few times and set it aside for about 6 hours. Back in the day, growing and harvesting grains was a much more laborious task than it is today. In spring, due to lack of climate-controlled storage and maybe occasional leaking roof, combined with warmer temperatures and increased moisture in the air, the grain would begin to sprout. Making red solid, and it was only made in spring, was a way to salvage sprouted grain that also produced delicious and nutritious results. I've made fermented red rye malt at different times of the year, and the one made in spring has the best and strongest aroma and flavor. If you have time and desire, and it's not necessary, during the first 6 hours of soaking, rinse your grain in refresh water. Also, to maximize germination rate and to help neutralize mold and fungus, premix 1 teaspoon of 35% or 4 tablespoons of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 2 liters or half a gallon of water, and add that mixture to your grain for the remaining 2 hours, making a total soaking time of 8 hours. And that brings us to health benefit number 1. Phytic acid, present in many plant tissues, especially bran portion of grains and seeds, is a principal storage form of phosphorus that is tightly bound in a snowflake-like molecule. In humans and animals with one stomach, the phosphorus is not readily bioavailable. In addition to blocking phosphorus availability, the arms of the phytic acid molecule readily bind with other minerals, such as calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, making them unavailable as well. Soaking rye berries has some effect on phytic levels, but sprouting increases phytase and degrades phytic acid by as much as 84%. When 8 hours are up, drain all water, transfer grain into a tray, and cover them with a wet paper towel, cheesecloth, or a cotton towel. Your grain should be moist and able to breathe, but not sitting in water. Once or twice a day, turn your grain to aerate. Add more water to make sure it remains moist, and cover it with a wet towel. Depending on your room temperature, sprouting can take 2 to 3 days. Your sprouts are ready when the majority of them have reached the full length of the grain. If your sprouts have grown green shoots, you have sprouted them for too long. Dispose and start over again. To understand the fermenting process and its flexibility, let's dive into the past. Introducing Ukrainian peach, or stove in English. The original multi-cooker I call Babushka 1000 is about 2 tons of engineering marvel. It was used to heat the dwelling, cook and bake, fry and stew, boil, dry fruits and mushrooms. It had different niches on its sides, at different levels and distances from the main fire, making it possible to ferment or slow cook. But it didn't have a temperature control panel. If you remember, fermented red rye malt was made in spring. It was warmer than in the winter, but still cool. Firewood would be placed in the oven in the morning and in the evening. During the day, everyone went about their business. There were families to deal with, farm animals to tend to, and the land to prepare for sowing. Babushkas didn't sit around it with thermometers they didn't have at the time to keep track of the temperature. And what that means is the temperature fluctuated greatly. Our next task is to ferment our sprouts. Transfer them into a container made for fermenting that is made of high-grade stainless steel, any metal that is enameled or ceramic coated, or clay or a glass pot. Don't use aluminum or cast iron. For fermentation to happen, add water. The amount of water you use will determine how long it will take to caramelize sprouts after fermenting. The more water, the longer the process, the darker fermented red rye malt will be. For lighter caramel color, add water to your container of sprouts to about a third way up. For darker colors, add water to completely cover all the sprouts. Ferment your sprouts for 24 hours at the temperature of 48 degrees Celsius or 118 degrees Fahrenheit, and then 48 hours at temperature of 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. To make sure all sprouts ferment evenly, stir them once or twice a day. 3 days of fermenting is a minimal requirement. To produce very dark fermented dry malt, you can ferment up to 7 days. If you do not have a multi-cooker or an oven that can be set below lowest cooking temperature, you can do what I did before I decided I needed to buy that Instapot. Use slow cooker or regular oven, warm them up until they reach desired temperature, turn slow cooker or oven off, keep it warm, and repeat this process every few hours. Remember Babushka 1000 and that the temperature can fluctuate. Do use thermometer to make sure you don't reach cooking temperature, which is 80 degrees Celsius or 175 degrees Fahrenheit. If you cook your sprouts, obviously fermentation will stop. To avoid mold and bad bacteria growth, do not leave fermenting sprouts at the room temperature for longer than 12 hours. Expect your sprouts to darken slightly and smell and taste sour during fermentation. And that brings us to health benefit number 2. Just like during any fermentation, pH is significantly reduced, which activates phytase enzyme even more, completely eliminating phytic acid and the rest of anti-nutrients. Beneficial bacteria multiplies in a perfect symbiotic relationship, producing highly digestible, food source, full-spectrum B vitamins. Transfer your fermented sprouts and all their juices into a baking tray and dry them in the oven at the lowest baking temperature of 80 degrees Celsius or 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Due to maximize the accumulation of low molecular weight products of enzymatic hydrolysis of carbohydrates, proteins, and other substances during fermentation, and their interaction during drying process, melanoidins are formed as a result. They determine that rusty reddish color of fermented dry malt and give it its specific aroma of a rye bread. The more water you have used during fermentation, the longer you can caramelize them for before they begin to dry, and the darker your malt will be. Caramelizing and drying doesn't have to be continuous and non-stop. If you have to use your oven for something else, it's okay to pause the process and take them out. When you place them back in the oven, make sure your oven is at the right temperature and is not too hot. If you're uncomfortable having oven on during the time when you're sleeping or away from home, turn it off and turn it back on again when you are around. Pauses during caramelizing and drying are called resting periods and produce better quality malt. The longer the whole process, the more melanoidins are formed. Do not leave your malt resting for longer than 10 hours. And that brings us to health benefit number 3. Melanoidins perform the same function as dietary fiber, improving digestion and stimulating growth of bifidobacteria exhibiting prebiotic properties. Besides being antioxidant, antimicrobial, immunomodulatory, and having the ability to bind heavy metal ions, Maillard reaction stimulates the formation of enzymes involved in binding of toxins, including acrylamide, that targets nervous and reproductive systems. Because of low caramelizing and drying temperatures, this malt has all its enzymes intact and is diastatic. If you wish to have non-diastatic malt, simply bake it for 5 minutes at the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes at any time during drying to deactivate all enzymes. Your sprouts are dry when you bite one and it snaps. Our last step is to remove dehydrated sprouts. If you leave them on, they will make your food, drinks, and baked goods taste bitter. Place them in a sieve and rub them with a large spoon. Removed sprouts can still be used in beer and alcohol making. Unground fermented red rye malt can be stored up to a year at the room temperature in a closed container to prevent it from absorbing other smells. Ground fermented red rye malt is good up to a month. For the first 4 to 6 weeks, your malt will go through aging process, making it taste and smell even better. Ground fermented red rye malt is used in baking, savory food recipes, for making probiotic drinks and alcoholic beverages. Can be steeped as a tea or added to one. Can be added to your coffee, fruit, or vegetable smoothies. Fermented red rye malt is contraindicated for people with chronic pancreatitis, acute gastritis, cholecystitis, stomach, and duodenal ulcers.